Hello everyone and welcome to my channel MiTutorials. In this tutorial, I will be showing you some of the new features which were released by Power BI in the month of July 2023. So make sure that you have the latest version of Power BI to use these features. So let's get started with this tutorial. So first of all, I'm going to show you some of the new features which were added to the line chart visual in Power BI. With the new features available within the line chart or the area chart visual, you can now transform your boring looking charts, something like this, to this one over here, which looks more appealing and more interesting to the end users. So I'm going to quickly show you how to transform this visual into this. Let's get started. I'm going to go here to the new tab over here. I'm going to go here into my data tab and I'm going to bring in the order date and the sales amount so that this creates a line chart for me. And then what I will do is I'm going to come here, right click, expand to next level so that I have months on my x-axis. And now what I will do is I'm going to click on this particular icon over here and then I'm going to turn on markers. I'm going to turn on data labels and then I'm going to click on more options over here which will display the format pane for me. Under line section over here, I'm going to scroll down and look for line type, and where it says linear, I'm going to change this to smooth. This is the new function which Power BI has added in the July 2023 update. So the moment you change this to smooth, it's going to look something like this. This is looking very nice when compared to the standard line chart visual with the sharp corners. And now what we can do is we can also change the colors. For example, I use this particular color over here. And when I scroll down under data labels, there is an option which lets me add the leader lines. Now, when I turn the leader lines option on over here, you will see that there is a minimum label offset that I have. I'm going to change this to about 40. So you will see that there is a leader line that is created and the labels are being displayed over here. You can play around with the size of those labels. You can make them a little bigger if you would like to. And then you can also play around with the size of this particular line that you see over here. When you scroll down under lines over here, there is stroke width. You can play around with the values here if you want a thicker line or if you want a thin line, or if you don't want any lines at all, where you would only see the markers and the leader lines that we have enabled in the chart over here. So if you want to have, you can have a thinnest line if you would like to, or if you can also increase this to about 3. This is the standard pixel size for a line chart and it looks pretty nice. There is another option over here which is called as step. You can change this to add steps, but I prefer using the smooth lines now, which looks very neat and nice. And now to highlight the area under the line chart over here, I will quickly change this to an area chart. And now you see that we have the area chart created. And if you would like, you can also play around with the opacity of the area background over here. Under lines, you see something called as shade area. And then you can increase the transparency here to, let's say, about 75%. And this would reduce the transparency and just highlight that particular area. So this is how you can create the new line chart with the new updates in Power BI. Now let's look at the second feature which is available within the Treemap visual. And now let's say you have added a Treemap visual and you want to change the color of the category. Let's say, for example, for the oil and masala category, you're not liking the dark color which has been used over here and you want to change that. Earlier, you had to head to the format tab and then change the color. All you can now do is you can simply double click on the visual which gets into the edit mode. You can see that there's a blue border now around the visual, which means that you are in the edit mode, and all you can do now is you can right click and click on the fill option over here and change the color that you would like to. For example, I can go to more colors over here and then click on this particular color and then click on OK. And also, let's say you want to change the colors of multiple categories. Now, instead of going to every single category, right clicking on it, you have a little drop down over here which you can select. Let's say, for example, you want to change the color for fruits and veggies. You can simply select fruits and veggies category over here and change the color to something else, maybe this color over here. Now let's look at some of the updates which were made to the pane switcher, and some of the key features were missing earlier when the on-object interaction feature was introduced within Power BI. Now finally Power BI seems to have addressed that issue. And now you can click on this plus icon over here which opens the customized pane switcher option, which enables you to turn on the different panes that we have within Power BI, like bookmarks, selection pane, your performance analyzer, and your sync slicers. Now you can have all of them displayed right over here, and then you can choose from these icons to see what pane that you want to see over here. Instead of heading over to View tab and then selecting the panes that you want to display over here, now we have these little icons over here which you can switch very seamlessly. And notice one thing over here, you have build a visual also available, but this has been grayed out over here. So to enable this, we can simply head over to the settings icon over here, and on this section over here, you can choose or enable both these options over here, which says always show the pane switcher and then always show a build a visual in the pane switcher. And then I'm going to click on OK. And now you will see that the build a visual is now enabled and it is already added to my section of icons over here. And now I can switch between the data pane or the format pane or the build a visual pane, etc. One of the important feature which was missing all this while was to display multiple panes side by side, especially when you enable on object interaction. Power BI seems to have addressed this in the July update. So now what you can do is, let's say that you have the data pane over here and you would also want to see build a visual side by side. What you can now do is click on control and then select the pane that you want to see. For example, the format pane, you can, when you click control and select the pane that you want to display, you will see all of them being displayed here side by side. Now this is that one feature that I was waiting from a very long time for Power BI to add this, and finally Power BI has added this. And now I'm already looking forward to more features which Power BI is going to release in the month of August 2023. So until then, thank you guys for watching this tutorial. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. You've learned something new today. Please consider subscribing to my channel for more such tutorials.